Yes.
And Albanian Prime Minister Edi Rama proposed a draft status for the Association of Serb Municipalities. What is your opinion? And also another question linked to Prime Minister Rama, he's proposing a Dayton-style conference to have Mr. Vučić and Mr. Kurti there to get an agreement, final agreement.
Yeah, the first thing I'd say is I did have a chance to read, but not in depth, the association, the proposal that Prime Minister Rama put forward for an association of Serb majority municipalities. It's serious, it's thoughtful, but there's a lot of ideas out there, and there's a lot of ways you can do this. There was a proposal made by the Friedrich Ebert Foundation as well that was also serious and carefully done. So what I would say is there's no shortage of good ideas of how to do this. And let me repeat something I've said many times on the record. The United States does not ask Kosovo to put into place an association of Serb majority municipalities that violates its current constitution, that's inconsistent with the Constitutional Court decision, or that goes beyond what we tried to lay out in a newspaper op-ed published by Deputy Assistant Secretary Escobar and Counselor of the State Department Derek Chalet, which makes very clear, no executive authority, no third level of government, no Republika Srpska-like model here. We will not support that. But there's ways to do that that respond to the concerns of the community. And we, of course, welcome other people's ideas of how to do this. At the end of the day, though, the government of Kosovo needs to put its ideas forward. It needs to work with Miroslav Lajčák and the international community to move forward with this. That is the thing that the government of Kosovo most needs to do with regard to implementing Ohrid. Serbia also has responsibilities that it must fulfill to implement Ohrid. We know that too, and we're asking that of them as well. On the question of the next steps in the dialogue that you raised, we're not going to opine on the next best way, the next step and the best way to do it, whether it's locking people into a room until they come to agreement, negotiating in different ways. This is an EU facilitated process, and the EU has named someone that we have confidence in, Miroslav Lajčák, to be the special representative, and High Representative Borrell is clearly playing an important role in all this. They have to determine what the next step is. We will be supportive of that next step.
And we mentioned Prime Minister of Albania. Let's go back to Kosovo. And how do you see the involvement, or do you see enough involvement of Kosovo President Vjosa Osmani in the situation that we have on the ground?
I'm not sure if it's appropriate for me to pass judgment on performance of the president of a sovereign country. I will say that I've seen President Osmani's public statements, and we've had private conversations in which she has steadfastly defended Kosovo's sovereignty and its rights, but also talked about the importance of full coordination with the international community. That's an important message, and that's also my message today. I'm looking for the government of Kosovo to also take action in response to and in cooperation with all of its friends and partners.
And if we make assessment of Kurti's government so far, what would you call the biggest success and maybe the biggest failure of the government?
And again, I'm not sure it's appropriate for an ambassador from another country to pass judgment on the successes and failures of a prime minister. That's for voters to do at an appropriate time. I can tell you what I want Prime Minister Kurti's largest success to be, and that is to see Kosovo move significantly closer to its vision of full integration into the EU and into NATO, to become a member of Partnership for Peace, to see its Council of Europe application move forward. All of that can be done. The path, though, is through the full implementation of the Ohrid Agreement. That's the way. And to get there, we got to get past the flashpoint, the crisis in the north right now.
And the last question, we saw that President Biden blacklist was reinstated again a few days ago. Can it include people from Kosovo as well?
I'm not sure what you mean by blacklist. Are you talking about sanctions designations?
Yes.
Okay. So this isn't President Biden's list. We've been designating people. The Treasury does it in a number of administrations. And I think going back to President Clinton, we can come up with a number of designations of people here in the Balkans, including in Kosovo. And we have authorities. Right now, the authorities for the Treasury to designate people so that they are either they individually or collectively or organizations are subject to sanctions. There's two big ones right now. One is if you are involved in transnational organized crime. That was the basis for the designation of Mr. Radojičić. The other is if you are involved in in doing things that create destabilization in the region. And we have designated a number of people, including in Kosovo, under those authorities as well. We still have those authorities. And so if people are involved in destabilizing the region, or if they're involved in transnational organized crime, we certainly reserve the right for the Treasury to designate them, and then they would be subject to U.S. sanctions.
Mr. Ambassador, as always, a pleasure to have you on my show. Thank you.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
See you on 4th of July.
All right.
Thank you.